So I wanted to take a few minutes to talk about the last little bit, what's been going on. I've been dealing with so much travel and expansion and working with a lot of themes that are really special to my heart. And there's going to be a lot of growth that's happening in the coming weeks, months, I don't know, millennia in my life. And so I wanted to talk about those themes as they've come up, but most particularly around some new offerings that I am anticipating and have already launched. So without further ado, so one big thing that has happened is I have launched a light language course. And I think that it is something that a lot of people don't even know what to do with. Because when you see light language practice on social media or spiritual leaders, or if you've seen it on Gaia, even with like Matthias de Stefano, when he's doing like portal openings or whatever, and he's doing light language with his hands and he's speaking another language of a guardian of the earth where he's at or something, and he's rubbing mud on his face, you're like, that's different, but am I that different? And and I understand that. I just want to say I understand that. So for me to offer the light language course is kind of like a bold move. It's a bold move, but I feel like obviously some people aren't ready to explore that, but it's because of the way it's expressed, it makes it sometimes not receivable by people because their spiritual immune system goes "Ah," and they just shut off from there. They don't really have something to say. I've never had anyone say anything negative to my face anyway about it because there's really little to rebut when you see it. You're like, I mean, you can't make that up, but I can't explain it. So it hurts my brain. And so I'm going to just not look at it. And certainly if you're not a person that is a practitioner of light language, or people in your life, you wonder, well, how can you even teach it? Like, is there, my daughter always makes a joke, there's not a Duolingo for what's happening here. She's like, I'm gonna need you to speak English, or I'm gonna need you to like come up with subtitles because this is just too much for me. And so I completely understand that. And that's the thing, that's going into headspace and trying to like figure out, well, what are you saying, or where is it coming from, or what do I do with this? And that's all working around the idea of trying to put it into a box. And truly, what I keep getting around it is that the whole point of light language and us not knowing what it is or where it's coming from. I mean, a lot of people I know can actually translate light language, and I can't translate it for verbatim. I can't listen to the light language and be like, blah, 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 blah. This is what it means. But I can feel the vibration of the light language. And there are some people outside of myself who can translate it. And I believe in large part it's that way so that we are not isolated anymore. We have to be connected to each other to like bring those codes together and, oh, this is this. And oh my gosh, really? And then you've created a relationship and you've created really like a bond, like a elemental bond between you and this other person. And you're better together than apart. And all these soul family folks are coming back together. It is really cool. But beyond that, I would say, um, stepping outside of the logical aspect of it, like when I first was gifted with light language, spoken light language speaking, I'm trying to like look it up on Google Translate of what it might actually look like and what it may mean, and I couldn't find it. Or it would be like 10 different languages in one sentence. And I'm like, well, what does it mean? I don't know what it means. And you don't know what it means. And that's the whole freaking point, is that you don't know what it means. If you don't know what it means, you can't overthink it. You can't put it into a box. You can't analyze it, because we're in an extremely masculine world. And that's all up here, right? And we're detached from the heart space. And so the whole point speaking light language and not knowing what it means or how or why or whatever is that you don't know. That's actually the point. And so you don't have to know something to take the class. That's the whole, I've actually like found people who are like, well, I can't take a class on blank because I don't know how to do blank. And I'm like, well, that's why you take the class, to learn something you don't know, but I have to be good at it. Well, how can you be good at it if you don't like open yourself up to learning, right? So it's a matter of being open to not know something. So I've done an in-person light language course, and that was actually really, really cool. But I don't live in a community that is robust enough spiritually to know the term and concept of light language so fluidly that they are going to sign up for that. However, that's why I decided to offer it online. And that also gave me more versatility and less time limitation to be able to like put things together in chunks that are little bites that people can, okay, I can do this. And so that's what I've done. And it's all really around the law of vibration, which is a hermetic law that everything vibrates, everything moves, nothing stays still. And that's everything everywhere. And so those vibrations are communicated through our speech and through movement and how we like move our bodies and through the written word, because they are all holding vibrations and power within how they're expressed. That's how everything works. And so if you understand the actual like law of it and how that can be proven scientifically in every conceivable way, especially through what's known as cymatics, which is being able to like show frequency through like a liquid or sand or something on a plate or in a basin attached to sound, you can see how it changes shape. And that's literally some of the patterning in animals' coats and stuff is that vibration. And so it lets you know, like, once you notice that, another law of the universe called the law of correspondence shows up everywhere, where you're like, oh, well, I made this connection. And now, did you know that like this vibrational tone or this hertz quality when it's played on a cymatic plate looks exactly like the tortoise shell of that tortoise over there? Why is that? Why is that connected to each other? Because it's undeniable. And so once you start seeing how it is provable with your brain to see how sound frequency actually translates to things you can see with your eyeballs, which is what we always believe to be what truth is in our current society, is what we can prove, what we can see, which has worked so against us because the things that you can't see, automatically people assume aren't real. But you can't show someone a dream you had where you were definitely chased by a bear and you almost died. But when you woke up from that dream, you definitely feel like you just were chased by a bear and you almost died. And you can't prove to your body that didn't happen because it was so real, right? So when I'm trying to talk about, no, these vibrations, these frequencies that you can't actually physically see usually, we can show you how to see them through these measurements. But doesn't that tell you that a lot of the things we can't see are also true? So once you can bridge that gap of what is and isn't logical, and you kind of like break that rule, then it opens up your mind to the potential that there's other stuff I don't understand that could also be true that I can't explain. There's a lot of things we can't explain because we haven't been given all the information in our life because our education system is bad. It's bad. So on that alone, there's stuff to learn about light language, right? Beyond that, light language, not knowing what you're saying, tapping into the frequency that is aligned with what you are desiring or what feels resonant to you, like love. I hope it's love. I hope it's love. And play and joy and higher vibratory things, not like evil, like, so you can channel anything. It's a whole spectrum from light to dark. There's a lot of in-betweens. So when you channel that, at the vibration you're at is the information you're going to get. And that's why some people are like, well, this channeler said this and this one said that and this one. It's because we all hold a different frequency based off of where we're at in our lives. You know, if you're speaking to a channeler who just got into a huge fight with somebody before they arrived to channel for you, there's going to be, maybe if they don't clear their vessel really properly, there's going to be a little residue of that darkness in it, and you're going to get a tainted image, like a filter, like a sepia filter over it. So some people have a bad spiritual experience with somebody because that person hasn't, you know, purified their vessel before tapping in, because you can tap into anything. Trust me, you can tap into anything, but do you want to? It's all about hitting the frequency that you desire to make more of, basically. Like, I want to tap into the frequency of love and abundance because that sounds great. And so I hold that frequency before I channel, before my vessel opens up and I write or I speak, and then I can promise you everything I'm saying or writing or whatever is coming out at that frequency. So it's about knowing what your frequency is. That's A. And if it needs to be moved, how to move that frequency to a higher frequency. That's alchemy. Once you do that, you can open your vessel through the vibration of play when you drop into your heart, instead of being like, what does it mean? What do I do? So when you release that and you're like, goodbye, brain, I'm going to just like put you on a shelf until later, until I need to use you to like do some math. And instead, I'm going to go straight into my heart space where I'm feeling expansion and love and possibility and receptivity, because you can't receive if you're trying to argue with someone or trying to find logic. Have you seen people in political debates? There's no heart space available there. And so they're going to literally just at each other because no one's in a state of receptivity to learn anything. No one's going to change each other's minds. It's just fighting. It's just watching people joust, you know? And so we can't even learn new information if we are in that closed space too. So if you've had an argument with a partner or your teenage child, I say teenager because little children are not easy to argue with. They're just like, I don't want to. Teenagers are really smart sometimes, and you don't even know what to say. But they're closed off sometimes, and maybe you're closed off sometimes. And so when someone's trying to share their perspective with you and you can't see it because you're like, I'm right, you're wrong, you're attacking me. You could be saying, the sky is blue and I love the sky when it is blue. And the other person's like, screw you, the sky isn't purple. And you're like, I literally didn't say that, you know? So you have to be able to receive from somebody new information, which is why we have to get out of this and go into the heart, which is how we receive. Okay. So in the course, I do a heart coherence exercise to open your heart that I recommend you do before taking in any of the new information. I recommend you take it in bites that feel comfortable to you and not keep getting more information until you've absorbed the other information. I have an integration meditation to help you receive and anchor in the new information so that it doesn't just like float out of your ears like every class ever in high school and some in college and some in grad school. I don't care about statistics. I don't. I'm here to tell you, I just don't care about it. I mean, it's kind of fun entering data, but I don't care about the math part. It's hard. Anyway, so I should talk to Pythagoras about that. He's a chatty lad. But that being said, go into your heart space, receive, take bites as you need to, and play as much as possible. Move your body. I talk about like moving your body like ecstatic dance, and look at hand light language like you're weaving, not like I'm trying to do American Sign Language or something that has to be proper. You're playing, so pretend that you're weaving energy while you do this. There's also the spoken word. I put together a lot of some flashcard printouts for you to cut up and draw out of a basket or whatever of sounds that you make with your mouth of several letters together, and then putting them together to make a sentence. And why is that helpful? It's because you get out of your head of how to make those words or sentences out of these sounds, and you just play with your mouth making those sounds. And the more you play with that and more you practice that, the more your mouth was going to be willing and able and open to just speak fluidly. And so I'm very excited about what I've been able to put together. And largely, I think that too, online is a lot easier for people to receive some of that information so that they don't feel like they're being witnessed. I mean, at least in the beginning, it's great to be witnessed when you're ready, but when you're not ready to be witnessed, it's like, do I look stupid right? No, you don't look stupid, but you're going to feel that way until you don't feel that way. So I wanted to be available for people to try and comfort their own home at 3 a.m. or whatever. So it's pretty exciting. There's 7 modules to it. The main lesson is about an hour and a half. The other modules to it, the intro and all of the side light language and the integration are about a half an hour a piece with all the information. And so there's a lot chunked in there that you can take at your own pace. I'm just really excited. I'm really excited about it. And the next thing I'm developing is, to move on to that, is grid work. I am part of a grid work community through Activations with JJ. There's a membership with her that is to grid work. And then if you're in that grid work community, you have an option to be part of an advanced grid worker community called Nexus. And I am one of the leaders of that group. And it's just really exciting to work with other people and channel with other people that are doing grid work at an advanced level, but there's also a lot of people who don't know what grid work is. So I'm going to be creating a series of lessons around grid work. And I'm pretty excited about that because a lot of people don't know what it is or why I've been doing it or why I've posted so much about it. And I'm going to be building that as well as a Divine Masculine course and Awaken the Witch Womb Healing Divine Feminine course, and also a Protecting Yourself While Dancing with Darkness shadow work course. So those are the things I'm developing. With that, I'm going to end with a light language. So perfectly timed. Blessing for everybody. Okay. Huska ot kurematka dorgis avataka for es ketimot rival os stanne orkitam os at muriara. Orkina burkustitsi parakatina siesio posia askist andakata puriamatat is puriamatakia at apotgisteme der kurriat kesia pata rietski siama. Utikati es hur ema paporkisio siamo kudurioro. Sabato kotir siama varakonia. Es apush at kima tatushta e kima. Ja to apriaski sipete te oriane rekas est. Ha rini amamas kuste pitime. Oriana. Uses kitar. Siber kimat.